Hey guys, welcome to my Uril the Miststalker deck tech. I've been playing this deck for over 10 years now. It's my longest surviving EDH deck. We're going overboard on enchantments with this deck. Not only are we pumping up Uril with enchantments, but we're doing all the ramp and removal with enchantments too. So for 2 red, green, white, Uril is a 5/5 that has hexproof, and it gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. This is a Voltron deck. We're trying to deal 21 points of commander damage to each opponent to knock them out. Let's start this off by looking at the card draw. We've got 5 Enchantress effects. Sithis, Harvest's Hand, Enchantress's Presence, and Satyr Enchanter all draw you a card when an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control. SRAM, Senior Edificer, and Core Spirit Dancer do the same thing, but only trigger off of auras, not all enchantments. 3 Dreams searches up 3 auras, puts them in your hand. And Courser of Krufix is nice for some card advantage, lets you play lands off the top of your library, and he's an enchantment himself, so he triggers a lot of the Enchantress effects. Next, we've got some enchantment tutors. Enlightened Tutor searches 1 up, puts it on top of our library. Sterling Grove gives all your enchantments Shroud, and if you need to, you can sacrifice it to search up an enchantment. And Academy Rector. It's a creature that when it dies, you may search up an enchantment and put it directly into play. Alright, let's briefly go over the ramp strategy. We've got 9 enchant land auras that help accelerate your mana. These are great because you've got all those enchantress effects that draw you cards when an enchantment comes into the battlefield. So they help keep your hand full, and they're rarely a dead card in your hand. Then we've got 2 creatures that take advantage of all these enchant land cards we have. We have Arbor Elf, which says tap to untap target forest, and Voyaging Satyr, which says tap to untap target land. This means you can double up on those lands that are already producing double or triple mana. Just remember that you want to put these enchantments on a forest whenever possible so that Arbor Elf can use them. And that makes dual lands just a little bit better in this deck. And last is Sanctum Weaver. It's a mana dork that says tap, add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of enchantments you control. And it's an enchantment itself, so it's at least going to tap for 1, and often it's going to tap for 2, 3, 4, whatever. Okay, on to the ways to pump Uril up. Now remember, Uril gets +2/+2 for each enchantment on it, and that's in addition to whatever the enchantment is granting it. Alright, let's start off with 2 of my favorites. Unflinching Courage and Armadillo Cloak. Look identical, but they aren't. First, Unflinching Courage says enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has trample and lifelink. Armadillo Cloak says enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has trample, and whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. Well, that's just lifelink, right? No, it's actually not. If you have both of these on your creatures, you'll kind of get double lifelink with it. Same with Spirit Loop. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. Also not lifelink, so it doubles with either of these other ones. Plus it says when it's put into a graveyard from play, return it to its owner's hand. 2 more awesome cards with that ability are Draconic Destiny, which gives enchanted creature flying, haste, and fire breathing. And I never know how to say this one. It's either Rancor or Rancor. I say Rancor, but gives +2/+0 and trample. Then there's Skyblade's Boon. Gives +1/+1 and trample, and for 3 mana, you can return it to your hand if it's in your graveyard or on the battlefield. All these return to hand cards are great, because if Uril dies, you need to find a way to get him back out and back full of enchantments as quickly as possible. Alternatively, we've got some enchantments that draw cards when they enter or leave. Pentarch Ward, Angelic Gift, and Audacity each replace themselves. And Flickering Ward, which you can pay a white to return to hand and then recast for another white. There's a cool trick you can do with this card where you return it and cast it and return it and cast it, and you keep getting draw triggers off your Enchantress cards. Real quick, if you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and consider subscribing if you like videos like this. I'm sure I've watched thousands of hours of Magic content by now, and it's been a lot of fun making some of my own. Okay, back to it. Next, we've got some enchantments that protect Uril. Although this is a good time to remind you that since he has hexproof, he kind of protects himself. Since he can't get targeted, he's really hard to get off the battlefield a lot of times. We've got Spider Umbra and Hyena Umbra, both which have totem armor, so if enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. Shield of the Oversoul, which gives it +2/+2, indestructible, and flying. And Spirit Mantle, +1/+1, and has protection from creatures, so that one's really good for not only protecting him, but getting through damage, because their creatures can't block. Battle Mastery and Runes of the Dais each grant double strike. Runes of the Dais is especially a powerhouse. If this is enchanting Uril and Uril connects just once, it's going to be dealing 18 commander damage to your opponent. Eldrazi Conscription is probably not the best card for the deck, but I just love it. I love it so much, I'm going to give it the funnest card in the deck award. And also, it's our backup plan. If Uril gets too expensive to cast, you can throw this on any other creature you've got and turn it into a giant beat stick. You can also search it up and cheat it out with Aura Touched Mage or Academy Rector. Next is removal. Now this deck does removal a little bit different, a little bit questionably, I'll admit. We're focusing on auras still because they trigger the draw effects of the enchantresses, and these cards can be used on Uril to pump him up or on your opponent's creatures to take the heat off of you. Predatory Impetus and Shiny Impetus both goad the creature it's attached to, so you don't really want to goad Uril, but he's going to be swinging most of the time anyway, so it's not too big of a drawback. And then you've got the option of targeting their creature with it, so that their biggest creature is attacking somebody else and Uril can get through. Valve Wilderness gives enchanted creature +3/+3 in trample and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. Usually you want this one on Uril, but in a pinch, if they're going to attack you to kill you, you can put it on their creature. Demotion says enchanted creature can't block and its activated abilities can't be activated. And Spectral Grasp, enchanted creature can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. Enchanted creature can't block creatures you control. And Faith Unbroken, it's an Oblivion Ring effect, meaning it exiles a creature they control until Faith Unbroken leaves the battlefield. Plus it's an aura that gives +2/+2. All these cards are mediocre as removal, and also kind of mediocre at pumping up Uril, but I like the flexibility, that's why they're in here. Much better as actual removal is Lignify, enchanted creature is a 0/4 tree folk with no abilities, and Song of the Dryads, enchanted permanent is a colorless forest land. Would this deck be better with more efficient removal, you ask? I ran it that way for a long time, actually. This is more fun, it's more unique, and I love that it triggers the Enchantress effects. I love the versatility it gives this deck. It really gives it more character. We've got 2 board wipes, too. Winds of Wrath says, destroy all creatures with no enchantments on them. They can't be regenerated. That's almost always just Uril. And then we've got Slash the Ranks, destroy all creatures and planeswalkers, except for commanders. Alright, just a couple of odds and ends to talk about here. We've got Sun Titan, it's a big 6/6 vigilance. When it enters or attacks, you may return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's most of the enchantments in the deck, so it can put stuff back onto Uril, or as a plan B, you can put it onto Sun Titan if you can't cast Uril anymore. Sigarda's Aid lets you cast auras as though they had flash. This can give you some sneaky wins. Dueling Grounds. No more than one creature can attack each turn. No more than one creature can block each turn. I'm going to give this the best card in the deck award. It slows everybody down to your pace of attacking with only one creature a turn. Plus, it's an enchantment, so it can trigger some of the draw effects. Crashing Drawbridge taps to give creatures you control haste until end of turn. It just gets Uril swinging one turn faster, and that can make all the difference. Dauntless Escort, Bastion Protector, and Safi Eriksdotter all protect Uril from deaths in combat or board wipes. We've got 4 sweet utility lands to talk about. Contested Cliffs lets you fight target beast you control with target creature and opponent controls, and Uril is a beast. Kessig Wolf Run, I'd say, is almost a must-have. It's X, red-green, tap, target creature gets +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. It's just another way for Uril to push through some damage. Hall of Heliod's Generosity, you can tap to put target enchantment card from your graveyard on top of your library. It's a great late-game card, especially great if you're running out of other things to do. Yavimaya Hollow, pay a green, tap, regenerate target creature. This card's expensive. It's not a must-have, but it really is good. And I don't recommend this card for this deck, but I actually own a Serra's Sanctum. I bought it for $30 because the borders were Sharpied on. It looks silver bordered, like an uncard. I've thought about trying to get the silver off of it, but I'm afraid of messing it up even worse, so I probably never will. Probably I should just sell this thing. It's not $200 good, that's for sure. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching my video. You can check out my other videos if you want. I've got a bunch of other deck techs and more coming. Okay, bye.